Alright guys, here we go. We're going to do a quick review of the Leatherman MUT. That's the military utility tool. This is one of the newer tools by Leatherman. It's been out for a little bit now, but it was actually designed for the military. But for civilian use, if you're a shooter and you're looking for a good multi-tool, this is the one you want. It's a little on the pricey side. I picked mine up for around 150 bucks. But when we get in here, I'll show you all the stuff it does. You'll really start to understand where that money went and why it's such a great tool for shooters. Before we get started, let's take a look at the sheath. This is an excellent sheath. It's got mole compatibility, so you can hook this up to any of your gear that has your mole or PALS webbing. Snaps through, which is real nice. Double stitching everywhere. Really great high quality Velcro. Hook and loop right here. It's just a fantastic sheath. I would imagine this is going to last forever. One neat thing that the tool comes with in the back of the sheath is this. It's a 3/8 wrench for a lot of your ring sights and things like that, and scopes. And it also comes with a front sight adjustment tool for adjusting standard front sight bases on your AR-15. So that's kind of a neat feature that it has. I think some of the original ones came with 2 different wrenches, and they started incorporating the front sight base adjustment tool, which is really neat. So you can adjust your front sight. But let's get in here and take a look at it. Okay, so here it is. This is the Leatherman MUT. First of all, I want to give you guys a quick rundown of all the different tools it has on it. I'm just going to read this straight off their website, but just so you guys kind of have an idea. It comes with needle nose pliers, regular pliers, replaceable wire cutters, and replaceable hard wire cutters that are both 154 cm steel. You've got standard wire cutters, an electrical crimper. You've got a combo edge knife that's 420HC steel. You have a saw, a hammer, what they call a hammer. I'll show you what that is. You have a replaceable cutting hook. You have a bolt override tool. So now we're starting to get into some of the things that are very specific to shooters, especially if you own an AR-15. It was kind of designed for that platform, but even if you don't own an AR-15, this is still a great tool for you if you're a shooter. Anyways, like I said, there's a bolt override tool in case you have a jam or something like that. It has a replaceable firearm disassembly punch. It's basically just a standard punch that helps you with your takedown pins in AR. Sometimes they can get kind of jammed up on you. It has a replaceable bronze carbon scraper, which is really kind of neat. When we get into the tool, I'll show you that and why that's important. It has adapters for most standard cleaning rods, which is kind of nice. There's a carabiner, a bottle opener, and a large bit driver that comes with several different bits. And I'll kind of show you all that kind of stuff when we get in there. But first, before we get started, I wanted to show you the tools that are on the outside that you can get to without opening it up. So let's take a look at this knife first. Okay, what's so great about the knife and the saw with this multi-tool is that most multi-tools, the knives just kind of lock into place. This one actually has a liner lock. I don't know if you guys can see that. Get to focus. There we go. So it actually has a liner lock, just like a lot of pocket knives would. So once you open it up, it's 100% locked in. It's not going anywhere. I'm not usually a huge fan of combo edge knives, but you know what? This is a great shaped blade. It has a really long end in front of the serration, so you can still do plenty of work with it without actually having to dip into the serrated part in the back, which is nice. Alright, another thing on the outside is your saw. Okay, so you know, I've never been crazy or wild about saws and multi-tools because I just very rarely find the need for one. But when and if you do, the teeth on this saw is really aggressive. You guys can see that double-sided teeth action right there. If you ever needed to use a saw, this would definitely make short work of whatever you were trying to do. So that's great. Another thing on the outside is your firearm disassembly punch. Okay, so this is the first tool that we're going to show you that is actually good for your AR-15s, and I'm going to scroll up here and let you guys show you guys exactly how that's going to work. Okay, so this is my most recent AR-15 build. And I wanted to show you guys the takedown using the punch. Alright, so just like any other AR-15, you have takedown pins in the rear and in the front. so that you can take apart your AR-15. I'm just going to kind of show you guys real quick how to use the punch to do that. Basically, you're going to put the punch and just press it through. You can do this with a round, but you know, this just makes it a little bit easier, especially if it's kind of jammed up on you. Whoop. And there you go. Your rifle's taken apart. So that's a pretty neat tool that you can use with the Leatherman MUT. So that's the first one that's specific to the AR-15 platform. Another tool on the outside of the multi-tool is your bronze scraper. Okay, this is really great because, you know, the idea behind putting this on here is that the bronze is a softer metal than the metal that your AR-15 is made out of, so that it won't mar the finish of your AR-15. So it's a really good tool to use for digging out carbon buildup, especially in the bolt and in that area. You can really get in there and scrape away at it and get a lot of your fine cleaning of your firearm without having to worry about scratching up the finish. So this really helps to get some of those really dirty areas clean. Also on the outside of the multi-tool, you have the carabiner, which is this right here. You also have a bottle opener, which is this hook. You just put on your bottle and open it this way. You also have what they call a hammer. Now, I don't know how much hard use I would put through this hammer, but it is built into the frame of the multi-tool itself, so it's definitely strong. Another thing that's neat about this punch is it actually unscrews. It screws off right here, and then you can take your punch and use the hammer if you really have a pin that's stuck to try to get it out, which is kind of nice. Also, this is threaded under here that matches most standard cleaning kits, which is kind of nice. The last tool that's on the outside, which I'm actually going to open up to show you, is this emergency cutter. This is really good for, you know, cutting paracord, or if you need to cut through a seatbelt or clothes or something for first aid. So that's a great addition. I opened it up to show you because I keep this in here and it kind of blocks the cutter, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. You also have this titanium pocket clip. You know, it's a good clip. It works just fine. This is a really heavy multi-tool. I don't know how much I'd be carrying it around in my pocket for daily use, but there you have it. Also on the outside of the multi-tool is another threaded spot for your cleaning kit. So this is the female end of your threading, if that makes any sense for you guys. So let's get in here and take a look at it. Okay, so inside the Leatherman you have these really heavy-duty pliers. You know, I carry the Juice S2 on a daily basis, and every now and then I run into a task where, you know, I just don't know if I want to put that much torque on my little multi-tool. These could handle just about anything, I would imagine. You have all your replaceable cutters in here, you can see. And then also on the inside, I wanted to show you, you have your bits. And these are actually, you can actually get these from the outside, but if you look, there's this silver pin right here that goes both directions, and also there's a halfway mark. The idea is that you use multiple bits in this bit driver that's right here. So what you do is you depress this with your thumb, and it moves just a tiny little bit. You can take it out. If you see on the other side, you have your Phillips. Okay, so then you'd put it back in. Sorry, I'm trying to do this through the viewfinder. Now you've got your Phillips head. Okay, now if you wanted to put this away, you could put it right here on the outside of the tool. It slides in just like this, and it just pushes right through. Another thing is that along with this one small bit, you can buy a kit of bit drivers from Leatherman. And there's a special spot in the sheath that you can hold those. If you look on the inside of the sheath right here, you have this flap that opens up. They can stuff right down in there, and you can also put them in here as well. And they're just kits that have a lot of your standard bits and sizes and different things that you would need. But with the tool, you have this one small bit driver, and then you have an extended bit driver that's still your Phillips and your flathead. So what I did, let me do it this way so you can see. So I move this pin out of the way, like that, and then your multi-tool bit driver, the extended one will drop out just like this. There we go. There. So it comes right out of the side. It's just an extended one. That way you can, get into harder to reach places and things like that. And it locks in just a little bit longer. Okay. So there's that one. It also comes with a torque and a hex on this other side. If you look, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to depress it this way. And it comes out and slides right through this hole in the end of the belt clip. Sometimes you got to kind of get it going. There it goes. So now you have your torque and your hex over here. And these are just kind of the most standard ones that you would use when working on AR-15. Like I said, the bit driver kit comes with a lot more options for you guys. But there you go. When you have it in the middle position, it locks in both sides. Now I've got my bit driver I'm going to put back in here. And the reason I leave this one in here, I'll show you, is because when it's closed, it protects anything from getting cut in that blade. One other thing I mentioned is it also has a security lock. This little hook right here. You can actually push this down and it snaps over the end of the multi-tool and it really locks into place. The bolt override tool is a huge one. That's the last thing I want to show you guys here. It's probably the one tool that you really, if you get jammed up, can help you the most. I'm going to go ahead and reassemble my rifle here real quick so I can show you guys that. So here's the bolt override tool. The end of this hammer actually acts as your bolt override tool. See if I can get to focus on the underneath side. So this part grabs in the side of your bolt and pulls it out if you have a jam. I'm going to attempt to show you exactly what I mean by that here with this AR-15. If I can zoom out a little bit. Okay. So what I've got here is the bolt locks back. Now we're going to simulate a jam. Okay. Let's say that you have some sort of jam and your bolt is partially moved through the front of the rifle, but it's not all the way in there. You're going to use this multi-tool and this bolt catch right here. I'm sorry, not bolt catch. You're going to use this bolt override tool to grab the side of the bolt, just like that. You're going to pull it back and move it, exit the previous round and chamber the next one. Definitely take a look at the Leatherman MUT. I highly recommend it. The tools lock into place very tightly. It's extremely durable. Check it out. If you're an AR-15 owner or just a shooting enthusiast in general and you're looking for a multi-tool, this is a great one for you. Thanks.